Greetings from sunny South Florida. It's time for the Palm Beach Podcast. And the hosts of your show, sports chiropractor and athletic trainer, Dr. James Spencer. Photographer and art director, Mike Jones. Recorded live at the Media Zone podcast studio in Palm Beach County. Relax and enjoy the show.
Hello, and welcome to the Palm Beach Podcast. This is episode 1 coming live from Media Zone here on Singer Island in Palm Beach County. Dr. James Spencer, thanks for being my co-host on this lovely podcast.
Hey, man, it's always a pleasure. And, beautiful weather outside, perfect sunny skies, and nothing better than living in sunny, South Florida.
It is a beautiful place, and we are fortunate to live here in Palm Beach County. My name is Mike Jones. Yeah, we've been friends for quite a long time now, and we had the idea to open up Media Zone together. And in the talks of what we wanted to do here, we said, what better way to promote it than actually start our own podcast and start bringing some people in?
Yep. So the idea, it was pretty cool how the idea proliferated. Mike and I were out on a trip into California and had some ideas and discussions, passing I don't even remember the place particularly, but
it was like a media production place in Los Angeles.
And it just stimulated the idea of conversation. And then next thing you know, a month later, here we are. We're in Media Zone.
So it's a beautiful place that we've set up here, and we're super excited to have businesses in Palm Beach County come in and record their content, as well as create the Palm Beach Podcast and bring them in so they can kind of share a little bit about what they've been up to in the community. I know you are very philanthropic and into giving back, as am I. We both donate our time. Let's just give our listeners a little bit of a background of kind of like who we are. Sure. and kind of where we're at in Palm Beach County.
Yeah, sure. So kind of background is we're both Floridians. I know Mike was born in California, but he might as well be a Floridian. And kind of bounced around, lived in Atlanta for Cairo school, and then went out to San Diego, moved to Houston after that, and then moved here to Palm Beach. And I've been living here for about the last 6 years, and truthfully don't plan on moving anywhere soon.
Well, you just made that sound really easy to become a doctor. But I know there was a lot of late nights and cram sessions at the library.
Yep. So, going through college that I was very dedicated to school and my craft and studying athletic training and movement. That was just kind of my foundation. And then when I moved to Wellington, I really specialized in equestrian and polo performance. And just, through the grace of God, had a lot of opportunities, and here we are.
That's awesome, man. It's been so cool to watch you kind of grow and figure out, who you wanted to be in the fitness space, because it's very crowded and it's hard to stand out. And I've been fortunate enough to work with you and help you build a brand. Obviously, you've sported the hat today, so it's right
here, baby.
Good brand recognition. But yeah, I've been James's media guy
since I can remember, to be honest.
Yeah, probably almost 10 years, going all the way back. I mean, I've been taking photos and filming for a long time, and it was really exciting when you kind of approached me and said, hey, this is kind of what I'm doing, but I have this vision and these types of people that I want to be working with. And so it was, for me, it's always the biggest compliment when someone asks to work with you. It's as a designer and a photographer.
A lot of it is just relationship building, and you understand me and my goal and relationships. We're trying to promote the positive message here in Palm Beach, and those are the type of people that we want on here, whether it's artists, celebrities, local businesses. The people that are promoting the right message are the groups and people that we would like to support.
Absolutely. And I know you've been involved with a charity. It was Rob's Rescue.
Yep
for a long time, and I've been doing a lot with my photography and the ocean and giving back with beach cleanups, and so for us, it's we've always kind of paid it forward.
Correct.
And so kind of what our goal and mission is with this podcast is to find other businesses and people and athletes that are doing similar things to kind of what we're into. making this community a better place to live. It's absolutely gorgeous here, obviously. But it's a great opportunity for us to kind of highlight some stories.
And fortunately here in beautiful Palm Beach, we have a lot of access to different celebrities and athletes. A lot of people come down here for the Winter Equestrian Festival. A lot of people come down here for spring training. We got the PGA Tour players, training locally. So we got a lot of opportunities, whether it's, just people coming to visit Palm Beach or even events locally and local celebrities. A lot of them are giving back and doing the right things here.
It's one thing to live in such a beautiful place, but it's another thing, to see that the people who choose to live here and the lifestyle that they live, it's for me, I've always been a beach bum, and I couldn't have been more fortunate to land here on Singer Island, and then now we have the studio here as well.
And truthfully, fortunately for me, a lot of my patients are a lot of high-end CEOs. And from a business standpoint, I get to ask a lot of the right questions and learn from them. So I'm just taking advantage of my time by working with them and learning from them, as well as, educating them on my craft.
So what kind of sports were you into that kind of got you into chiropractics? Like, because I know when we were in Jacksonville, you were pretty set on working with athletes at that point, right?
Yep. So just growing up, did every sport: basketball, football, baseball, you name it. A lot of skateboarding and wakeboarding. And then when I got to college, started teaching wakeboarding in college. And that's when I really got into wake skating. And really, honestly, I just love being on a board. We started doing more indo board training and things like that when we were in college. More is just like a competition. But truthfully, it's funny how here we are probably 15, 20 years later, and we're both looking at each other about to teach barefoot and balance courses together.
Yeah, it's
so
for me, when I take a step back and actually look at what we've been up to and what we're building here, it's what we were doing 10, 15 years ago.
Yep.
We've just gotten better and, taken our L's along the way and learned and always improved. And for me, like, we were laughing not that long ago that my first water housing for a camera, we actually like created from like an ammo box that was waterproof, and we like drill and hacksawed into this thing. And, those are the things that you have to do to eventually, improve and get better at what you're doing. And now we have a studio here
Right.
in Palm Beach County. And it's just funny, like, that we've listened to our inner voices, our inner calling, and have found, working with athletes, working in media production has kind of, something that stayed true.
True. And it's the message that we want to promote in our life calling, and the fact that we know that creates, opportunities for us, because that's our self-awareness. We know what we're good at. And as we've talked, if you're not good at that, hire somebody.
And, we definitely listen to a lot of podcasts, read a lot of books, and there's people out there, like obviously Joe Rogan, Gary Vee. Thank you guys very much for
Cheers.
kind of paving the way. Because for us, we're not really trying to reinvent the wheel here.
And to be totally honest with you, I've been listening to podcasts since like 2008. When I first got to chiropractic school, that's when I really started to learn about this stuff. So I was an early adopter before the time, just didn't start one. And now that it's coming to full circle as far as content creation, I think that us providing a beautiful space like this in Palm Beach is something that's it's just the beginning.
And it's funny, because I've been speaking with friends and letting them know kind of what we've been up to, and they see little teasers on Instagram and stuff. And I did not realize until now how popular podcasts really actually are with my like group of immediate friends. Like, my friends are coming up and like, oh, have you heard of this podcast? And like, just people sending me like those 10:30 at night links to like podcasts to go check out. And it's been really, really cool.
And honestly, that's the excitement of all of this. It's, a different purpose in life for us. We get excited to interview people and share the message and help them create beautiful content.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I know we've got some great businesses and a few athletes and a few coaches lined up to come on the show.
Yep, we look forward to a couple of teasers, and hey, here in the near future, we may even have a few eating contests.
Yeah, I have heard rumblings about a competition of sorts. But for us, it's this is an open platform. We would love to have anyone in Palm Beach County that, has a great story to share. And I think this would be a good opportunity to tell them, head over to Media Zone's website, drop us a line, and if you have someone in Palm Beach, or if you yourself are in Palm Beach and you want to get involved with this.
Yeah, please reach out. We're here to help promote local businesses that we align with and that are doing the right things. And honestly, reach out. We're here to help.
So let me ask you, what's one of your favorite things to do in Palm Beach County?
So the beautiful beaches here is number one. Whether it's fishing, I mean, listen, you just shoot right offshore, and you got some of the best fishing known to man. Personally, my favorite is slacklining on the beach. Nice, beautiful breeze. Nothing better than some balance training and having some fun with friends. Or hey, the golf course is right up the street as well.
See, this isn't fair because you are much better at slacklining than everybody else. So James will attach this like bungee cord in between two trees and just like balance for like 50 feet and makes it look very, very easy.
But you know what? You meet a lot of people, just posting it up in parks, opportunities. You never know who you're going to meet. I've actually gotten a few patients out of it. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I know. For me, slacklining has always been a fun thing to do. And, I'm a little jealous that you practice maybe a little bit more than I do now.
Well, how about you? What's your favorite thing to do here?
Yeah, for sure, surfing is number one.
Yeah.
And diving would probably be a close second.
Yeah.
Just being on the water here is, blue water makes me happy.
Sure.
And being around the sea life definitely makes me happy. And so if I'm not taking pictures of waves, I'm probably riding them or underneath them.
Sure. Well, hey, here's the cool thing about Media Zone. It's just a hop and a skip from Peanut Island and the beautiful reefs under Blue Heron Bridge. So, if you want to come in and film a podcast, then go for a snorkel. We're always down.
It actually sounds like a perfect day for me. And then go to Sailfish Marina for a drink at sunset, right?
Perfect.
Yeah. So, Spence, I know before we got on air, we kind of wanted to talk a little bit about who we are and kind of what we've been up to in Palm Beach County.
Sure.
Since we're going to be co-hosting the future episodes and having guests on, let's give the listeners and the viewers just a little bit of a background on both of us and kind of what we've been up to.
Yeah, sure. So a lot of my background is sports medicine. I work out personally in Wellington is where my office is located. Just because of the location, I work with a lot of equestrians and polo athletes. That's kind of my specialty from kind of here on out. That's what I would like to dedicate my life to and really change and influence the sport for the better.
Yeah, it's been fun. I know I've been in there for a few top secret filming sessions. So I'm sorry I can't share any spoilers
yet.
But you are thinking forward. You're thinking, like innovation is just a word that comes to mind when I hang out with you. It really is interesting, and something that I heard you say recently was that you have a heart on one side of your body, and that on the other side you don't. So like we always think that we should be symmetrical, but like actually there's imbalances and imperfections in your body like that.
And that's the thing too, is just educating people. Like, I mean, here we are. We're finding out that the leading cause of horse injury is actually rider asymmetry. So those are the things that's my specialty, So that's something that not only do I want to influence, but I want to change the sport for the better. Not only for the athlete, for the horse. So that's really cool. I think that's something that is really something to excite me and the future of where a lot of my studies and time will go.
I know that you've been into balance for as long as I know you. Like,
Sure.
we discussed earlier, like skateboarding and slacklining, surfing, all these sports that rely on balance. And sometimes not like perfect balance. Like sometimes, like you really are going to be skewed on one leg or the other.
Sure.
And that really does apply with riding horses, like the equestrian sport. Like if you actually break it down of what the person is doing while they're on the animal is that they're balancing and steering it, And so it's actually like, it's so funny how you've kind of have just fallen into it. It just makes perfect sense with your background.
And that's something just like a future stance in the industry of sports medicine and fitness and performance that I'd really like to do is just balance training. Just look at statistically, you're more likely to die from a slip and fall injury than you are from cancer at the age of 60. So if we can teach people some of these tasks or skills now, this is anti-aging, right? So not only is it sports performance, it's anti-aging. It's teaching people really how to move and be nimble to prevent injuries and eventually prevent medical costs.
Well, I know that, that sort of modality and training like that you're just the way you think about things, it probably brings you clients, right?
Correct. Yeah. So I think honestly, my unique perspective and unconventional style is something that either people have been to everybody else and then they finally seek me out, or they just like that unique perspective and they're really driving down that field.
And I'm sure you're probably a breath of fresh air in the equestrian world. Like obviously rocking with a beard and like a little bit of a lifestyle brand.
Right.
It's cool. It's I always said, you have to stand out some way or another, and I'm sure that the people of Wellington are appreciating like the new ways that you're thinking about training athletes and helping the animals.
Like I'll give you a unique perspective. A couple years ago, we were warming up before a polo match, and you'll see some stuff with the med ball and whatnot, but I think a lot of mid back and shoulders and wrist and elbows need to be loosened up and really primed before the game. So we use Indian clubs, and that's something unique that a lot of people aren't even aware of. And essentially all they are is, just think of like little juggling sticks. Okay.
Like a bowling pin?
Bowling pin's perfect example.
Yeah, okay.
Right. So we use those for warming up wrist, elbows, and shoulders. And right as we were doing that, we had a polo photographer roll up on us and start snapping photos. And he's like, I've never seen this before. And it's a unique perspective like that. Like, okay, now we're exposing people to new things, and that will actually improve their performance and prevent injury.
And, I think just the average gym going person would probably agree that you get bored sometimes as well. Like, don't you want to challenge the body? Like, isn't the balance part like actually like the more of a challenge mentally?
Not only mentally, I think it's a little bit of critical thinking. You have to be present. You can't be worrying about anything else outside of what's going on, which you and I both know tap into more of that flow state. So
Absolutely.
I don't think there's a single person you'd ask out there to say, hey, would you like to be in a flow state? They're not going to say no. Right.
Well, yeah. It's, I think it's always come to athletes as like where you typically would think of a flow state.
Sure. Like
being in the zone. But I think it applies to everything. Like even in work and life, like, you can be like, I don't know, just for example, as a photographer or something, I could think like you could probably snap 100 photos and not even know, you were just so into it.
10 minutes you think was like that, and it was, next thing you know, it was 2 hours.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And that's just you enjoying being in the moment and being present and not worrying about anything else.
And so you think balancing challenges your brain to get you into it?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And not only does it challenge you, it makes you get there.
I mean,
because you have to focus on the balance or you fall off.
And, every time that I come to your place, I do try to break out the endo board, even if it's just for like a little session, because it is so much fun.
Endo board, we will take a sponsorship to here in the Palm Beach podcast.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
We will drink White Claws with our endo boards underneath the table. Absolutely.
But, it's things like that. I want to be forward thinking and not only like preventative medicine, but if we can prevent slip and fall injuries and teach it, doesn't matter what it is. This is something unique, and it starts from the ground up.
And for me, it's very, it's inspiring to watch you work, as I have been a photographer and a filmer for you. I see, for example, I can think of one high school athlete that's a swimmer that would probably have thought he was too cool for school to be doing some of these,
Sure.
things with clubs. And it's just, it's not your traditional, like, here's me with a bench press.
Correct.
Or squatting like the entire rack. And that kid right now is absolutely crushing it. Yeah, he's a stud. So,
well, and I appreciate him buying into the process and trusting the process, because it starts foundationally, and you can't go phase 3 when we're at phase 1. Unfortunately, he believed in it, and now he is where he is.
Yeah, I mean, you're not a miracle worker.
But you know what? The unique perspective too is also, I want people to realize like medicine has changed a lot, and treating people is listening to them as humans. And I have all day, and that's the truth. A lot of people don't see that. It's another number for a lot of medical doctors or chiropractors, but the truth is I'm here to help, and that's a unique perspective. So that's something that I like to apply to Palm Beach. And next thing you know, here we are creating content and teaching people more about their body and movement. And, no better place in South Florida than here, specifically Palm Beach. I mean, we got beautiful Singer Island right over there, Peanut Island. We got everything else as far as Boca, Delray, West Palm, Jupiter. I mean, it doesn't get much better.
Yeah, no, I was definitely a little jealous, even though I was living in Australia, when you told me that you were moving down this area, because at college in Jacksonville at UNF,
Correct.
we both had a ton of friends that were from Palm Beach County. Like, I could think of a dozen friends that I made that were from anywhere from Fort Lauderdale to Jupiter.
Sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, living overseas and seeing you move here and seeing this whole shift was really interesting for me. And I knew when it was my time to move back from Australia and being a photographer and surfing and living the dream, that Palm Beach was probably somewhere on my radar in the future.
And something that really gravitated me to here was how much exposure you have to different athletes, different opportunities. That's something that I had in Houston. I always said that you were one handshake away from meeting anybody.
Absolutely. Well, we definitely believe in showing face and getting out there and networking and being a bit of a social butterfly. It's just one of those things, even if you don't put yourself out there, like, that's where you lose.
Well, and that's where growth occurs, just as personally and professionally. I know there's a lot of opportunities that I've been awarded because of showing face or helping out, and that's really what we're here to do, is promote that.
Just stepping out of your comfort zone.
It's growth, baby.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's cool. I know when you asked me to rebrand sort of what you were doing a few years ago, I was actually overseas kind of working as a photographer and living in a beautiful country. And
tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, it was really a dream come true. I got to move to Australia after I finished college at UNF. And
what year was that, Mike?
December of 2010.
Okay.
So I moved February 2011 straight for the Quicksilver Pro.
Perfect timing, by the way.
First surf contest of the year. So, and
how? Tell us about that.
For me,
because that's a dream come true.
I actually still believed that Australia had more outback than there really is. Like I knew about the Gold Coast and all that,
sure,
and Sydney, but it's just funny once you get there. I mean, it's not all red dirt out there, but there really are kangaroos going through your front yard.
And beautiful birds.
Yeah, and it's funny. I actually lived in a town called Palm Beach, which is on the Gold Coast of Australia, for a little bit.
Irony.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I guess it was calling to me then. But for sure, I was very fortunate to have the opportunity and the family to support me to say, don't buy a return flight, just go. Worst case scenario, we bail you out and we'll buy you a plane ticket back.
Sure.
But you're going to land on your feet out there. And so after pretty much starting at ground zero, I was able to, just by putting myself out there as a solo American living in a brand new country and not knowing anybody, into a staff photographer for a hotel that was owned by some guys at Billabong.
There you go. And
then right into a college working as a marketing director. And it was just hilarious that, I left with a surfboard and a suitcase and somehow was able to
landed 2 dream jobs.
Yeah, well, and meet some incredible people along the way. And for sure, Australia is a beautiful country, and they are kicking butt out there with their economy as well. They are no slouch when it comes to the tourism, and even like there's so many great photographers out there that I look up to. So
Sure. So how long were you there?
I lived in Australia for 5 years, and uh, you know, after I sort of played my visa game out, I sort of realized that
Sure.
I had to get a little bit closer to family, and so that was for me. It was really fortunate that after I landed in Jacksonville for a little bit, you were able to convince me to come down here, and about a year ago.
Well, I'm gonna rewind it a little bit. Truth be told, I was supposed to move out to Australia with Mike. I got my work and holiday visa approved. I was in Houston at the time, and I got fired Johnny on the spot when they found out. And they found out from a naughty way of looking through my email on their server, but that is what it is. But you and I were supposed to be roommates together.
Yeah, I was trying to invite all my friends out to Australia.
So at that time, I was really moving out there. And then next thing you know, I got fired Johnny on the spot, which actually pretty much forced me to move here.
Well, it's funny
Beautiful
how some things
spot.
work out.
And now here we are, like 5 years, 6 years later,
Yeah, so I'm very much looking forward to the future episodes here at Media Zone of the Palm Beach Podcast, Spence.
Yep, me too, man. And, beautiful place. If any business or local artist or, again, athlete, celebrity would like to come in, hang out, have a few White Claws, and shoot the shit, we're here.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, thank you so much, Spence.
Cheers.
Cheers.